I saved the day. I invited Elazer. Alright, so Blackburn Game 1, Best of 5 Finals for the EU Open Cup number 75? Yep, 75. Elazer has been up against HeRoMaRinE previously in the Open Cups, I think a semifinal. And it didn't go so well. It was a little bit of the whole overall score doesn't reflect the games. There's at least 1 or 2 games where it looked okay for Elazer, but yeah, HeRoMaRinE was in a particularly good form that week, I suppose. But Elazer also feels like he's in pretty good form. Especially that first map on Blackburn versus Seoul was very convincing. See if he can replicate it versus HeRoMaRinE. Bottom left, it is the blue Zerg, it goes Elazer. In the bottom right, it is the red Terran, Mal's Esports, HeRoMaRinE. Still holding on to the most Open Cups won. Especially with Clem occasionally falling out to the likes of Max Pax. For me, it still is most amazing when HeRoMaRinE faces a Protoss player in these Open Cups. I think that's when he looks truly dominant, but his TVZ can at times look equally as dominant. His TVT is usually against Clem, and then he doesn't look as dominant whatsoever, but yeah, if it's not Clem, then they're either pretty close or HeRoMaRinE is in good form and just dominates. That's what it feels like. Elazer doesn't sign up too often, but when he does, he'll make it pretty far. In this particular Open Cup, it was just a lot of surprising upsets earlier on in the bracket. Neeb got taken out by Lilbao. Showtime got taken out by Poppy. And Clem got taken out by Max Pax, which isn't... That's the least surprising of them all, I suppose, but it's still something that supposedly Clem's gotten over. Whatever happened in that best of 3 did not go well for Clem. That's what maybe opened up a little bit more of a pathway for Elazer to get here. It wasn't on the same side as Clem anyways, so I would say that Clem would be a reason a lot of Zerg players don't get into the round of 4 or into the finals. It wasn't the case for Elazer. Now this is funny. A bunker blocking the 3rd. Not something that Zergs have to deal with a very lots, and actually, this is funny. Elazer doesn't give a damn. Doesn't give a shit. He's not even gonna go to that 3rd hatch. HeRoMaRinE hoping to block out a 3rd, mess up Elazer's timings, is just not doing anything. And putting 100 minerals in his build order that is very out of place, that might interrupt an orbital turning or something like that. I'm actually not sure what it'll disrupt. I have to really think about it for a second, but yeah. It's gonna disrupt something, and it's not gonna do anything. It's funny. And at some point, HeRoMaRiNE's gonna look at his bunker and be like, alright, what's going on? And then pretty quickly afterwards realize that it is the gold base. And then how does HeRoMaRiNE punish the gold base? Usually pretty easily. Usually Hellions do a good job of it. And we do have Hellions now on the way. HeRoMaRiNE actually went for a double Reaper opener, which also was a stick thrown in his path of a usual build order, but chose to go for it, hoping to harass more than it would end up actually happening. HeRoMaRiNE is a 3rd CC back at home. Still no second gas as he adds on a barracks and just Hellions. No gas necessary for those units. Elazer kind of has to go into a Roach Warren to defend his gold base if he's going to take it this quickly. And that might actually just be him playing into Roaches from that, which wouldn't be too surprising. It's probably the better answer to Blackburn. Although we did just see Elazer tackle Blackburn with Needling Banelings, though. Clearly there are options. Lings are still slow. That's a very delayed metabolic boost. Finished up now. 3 Overlords are on the way. Elazer, is he going to actually poke forward with some Roaches here? No drones, no drones, no drones. Yep, he's going to poke forward with some Roaches. So HeRoMaRiNE doesn't have a lot of units yet, but he will have at least 1 tank, so he is thinking about some form of safety. Finally gets to utilize that bunker. And I think even without seeing the third hatch, well, he now sees it. I think he knew about it. Now the question is Elazer gonna macro? No. The answer is no, but does HeRoMaRinE realize that? He has nothing scouting the roaches and lings coming through the middle of the map. The lack of drones at the third can be explained away by his harassments. No drone transfer could happen while he was busy being a little bit of a shit. So he's kind of played himself a little bit here, guys. Tank is sieged up on the high grounds, and there's an okay number of Marines, but when everything comes together for Elazer, what does HeRoMaRinE really have? The SCV pool, I suppose. These 3 Ravagers, which will one-shot a tank if they hit it. Just shy of hitting it, but the Lings got on top of him anyways. There weren't enough Marines to stop the Lings from flooding in, and HeRoMaRinE just had no idea this was on the way. He had that little bit of precaution by that going for that second, faster first tank, but it wasn't enough. Not without bunkers, not without the high ground working for him. HeRoMaRinE just had no idea this was happening. And, I mean, even if this doesn't bust into the main base, it's done already so much damage. 8 workers isn't that big of a deal, sure. For someone who has a 3rd CC, but it's all the lost mining time, it's the lost engineering base, lost supply depots, lost army, and of course Elazer has a gold base, which he'll be able to saturate pretty darn quickly. That's the whole point of it. So... yeah, HeRoMaRiNE's pretty dead. Drop is something that HeRoMaRinE kind of has to do. He's got to have something across the map, at least trying to abuse the one advantage that he has, which is his medevac mobility. He does find a couple of queens. No transfuses, no lings. Both queens could fall, but oh, not actually getting a second one. Drop it. Drop it like it's hot. All right, good. He grabs the second queen, still has the medevac alive, but Elazer has a gold base and is double expanding to a 4th and a 5th, getting up to a more respectable amount of drones, a number you would see maybe more with a regular macro game. Not quite, actually. Staying just under 70 because the gold base is making up for whatever he hasn't made. Eventually that will run out, but by the time it runs out, Elazer will be maxed with 1-1 roaches. HeRoMaRinE will have barely a response to it. We'll have a couple of tanks, yeah, but no upgrades, very few Marines. No Marauders by the looks of things. This is the type of game that you can't really blame the Terran for holding out on. You know, they were able to save some SCVs who work with the 3cc build, but I think even HeRoMaRinE knows that he's pretty much dead. But while HeRoMaRinE usually is the type of guy to accurately sum up the game and tap out sometimes what even looks like prematurely, it seems like this game he's either being more stubborn than usual or actually thinks he's got a way back into this game. He's usually not one to be stubborn or one to misread scenarios, but it can happen. Double medevac drop in the main, still trying to take advantage of mobility, but Elazer has already split his roaches. He's gonna have plenty to spare. Plenty. And maybe he's not gonna hit his 1-1 roach timing. He's going to have a hive. He's gonna go into 2-2 while HeRoMaRiNE's only just started his 1-1. I don't see a reason why Elazer doesn't go for the push. He's maxed out. 1-1 against 0-0. His Overlord sees a naked 3rd CC. Now it sees actually even more tempting than a naked 3rd CC. His tank's coming out unsieged. So yeah, that's it. GG. It's kind of funny, but I feel like HeRoMaRinE actually was a bit of a victim of style, you know? He's doing something that was a little bit different. The 2 Reaper with the bunker harassments. And that actually led to him not scouting the Roachwarren. Or not the Roachwarren, the roaches on the way. If the roaches were scouted at their natural, he has the tank actually up on the high ground. He probably is trying to build bunkers. He might have even pulled all of his SCVs from the natural. There's a good chance he holds. But he had no idea. No idea whatsoever. Link took out 2 Hellions. I missed it. 2 Hellions would have saved the day. You feeling comfortable? Look at her little belly. Look at that belly. She's got a little bit of white on her tail, a little bit of white on her chest, and a little bit of white on her belly. You can kind of see it. And I want to poke it every time. Most of our cats don't mind if you pet their belly. They don't, like, scratch at you or anything. But she is a peculiar cat. She kind of lives up to cat stereotypes where she's very finicky. So I can poke her and even kind of pet her on the belly, but after like 5 or 6 pets, she's like, stop it. Blah, blah, blah. Alright, game 2 is on Lightshade. Elazer just playing the same best of 5, I don't know. He's actually playing the same map order versus Soul so far, but definitely not the same games. Bottom right, it is HeRoMaRinE. Top left, it is Elazer. My points. Yeah, I don't know when ESL started to reward points based on individual games. Has that always been the case? I feel like last year it wasn't. And I don't know. I don't think I like it. I like rewarding an overall series prediction. Oh, HeRoMaRinE going for a CC first. He's got a couple of offshoots of this build, so I'm not going to call anything quite yet. But one of the offshoots was a blue flame hellbat attack that maybe he would like to engage with because it could be a very brutal way to get revenge from last game. Like, you roached me, I'm gonna hellbat you. Of course, that wouldn't work out if Elazer also does roaches again. Then that would be really awkward. And I think a HeRoMaRinE has to be kind of scared of the idea that there might be roaches again.
Warning.
Not because
programs detected in comm server 04.
Not because oh shit. Ha! Della, what did you do? Just kidding. Thank you for the 10 gifted subs, Della. Appreciate that. Welcome, welcome everyone. HeRoMaRinE's actually just straight up lagging out here. I guess to finish my thought, HeRoMaRinE might be scared of the roaches, so he might not be willing to go into a hellbat attack or something. Because Elazer did it last game, sure, but also because Lightshade still can be a map where you see roaches. Oh, thanks, Stella.
Game resumed.
All right, hopefully whatever's happening over in Germany gets fixed. Orbitals equally timed. That's the nicest thing about a CC first, in my opinion, is that your orbitals make it at the same time. I don't know, just something about it. No double Reaper opener this time, no bunker harassment either. It really didn't do very much, and it actually kind of backfired in a funny way. Thank you, 47, for gifting us up to Della. Very nice of you. Making sure the sub gifter also has a sub. I guess the kind of awkward thing about a command center first that you don't need a very fast second supply depot. So that Ling almost went in, but it already got the scout that it was probably expecting to get, which is up to the factory, and that the command center was fast. It would love to have seen the third CC, but that's something this Overlord can actually do. And it is a third CC into a starport. HeRoMaRinE has actually been a little more in love with 3cc Hellion Banshee. I was kind of surprised by how much he brought it out in the DreamHack groups. It's kind of middle of the road. It's a 3cc build, sure, but it's, you know, I don't know. I got used to Clem pretty much only ever doing the 3cc right into barracks build, which is just the purest way of getting 2 Marines that you can get. The Banshees do provide 2 things, though, and one is defense, if anything tricky happens. And then 2, a little bit of aggression, a little bit of map control. But with how Zergs have been able to deal with some of these Hellion Banshee builds, it can definitely look a bit flat. Looks a little lame. I'd say generally the Terrans get maybe 4 drones with this opener. And not much else against the pros really on point. But it can happen. You can cancel a 4th base, you can get 6 drones. Kill a couple of queens, something like that. Overlord actually gets everything. Ling gets everything. We just allow back in. Sees the Banshee, sees the barracks. And the Overlord might even escape. So this is just a beautiful game so far for Elazer. Not that anything wrong has really happened for HeRoMaRinE other than being scouted and losing some of that cloud of mystery that you would like to have. But he's, you know, going for a macro build, so it's also important to note that HeRoMaRinE has his own decent SCV count. He's going to have his own 3rd CC pretty much as fast as you would like. I guess not now. It could be faster, but still pretty fast. Once he has enough Marines to actually feel confident about taking it on location. Elazer is going to be going up into Ling Baneling. Lair is about 80% done. Spore Crawler is obviously on the way, but Overseers will also be available as the Banshees have yet to really do a whole lot of damage. And we do have no evolution chambers, so I expect to see a Spire or Hydralistem. Centrifugal hooks might come out. I mean, do you really have to go for it that fast? Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think it's gonna come out first. This wasn't, if this was a straight up into barracks, no pit stop at the Banshee, then I think faster centrifugal hooks has been a response of the Zerg, an opener of the Zerg. But in this case, I think you have time to get into mutas, holding with Ling Queen, and then eventually, when it matters most, getting centrifugal hooks. Now, this is a great cancel. That was actually a fairly healthy hatchery. It's going to be a second cancel as well. So the Banshees have already done far more in this game than they've done an entire series past. Like, they've been so much worse. An entire best of 5s. It's not drone kills, but that's a lot of resources lost when the cancels, and the drone is just, it's supposed to be a hatchery right now. So nice little grab there from HeRoMaRinE. Elazer is going to once again out on a fairly fast 5th base, but this isn't just for that macro and larva. He is thinking about a lot of mutas. Don't know evolution chambers though. I feel like usually you'd see them start mutas and then upgrades, but maybe I'm wrong. The only reason I'm really pointing this out is not to show off my own ignorance, but is because there is a way of playing where you just go Ling, Baneling, Muta, and attack, attack, attack. It's old, but it happens. Okay, alright. Evolution chambers are now on the way. 1-1 is actually already done for HeRoMaRinE. So clearly upgrades could be a problem in the future. Baneling's not getting any connection so far as the Marines dance around on creep, try to focus fire down, but I don't even think Clem could have tackled that many. One of mine's gonna pop off mostly on Ling's, not really what they wanted. Muta's gonna give chase, means that they have to evacuate out of that medevac. The focus fire perhaps as well, but Baneling's now roly-polying in. Ooh, help push back the initial force, but the reinforcements arrive. Would of mine's still intact as well. And Elazer definitely needs more Ling Baneling, and he's not quite there yet. He is not to those Banelings, which he really, really, really needs. Best he can hope for is some splashback, which actually does happen. oh, those Marines were already weakened, but then more Widow Mines actually pop off on Lings and Mutas, and this is still a very dirty trade for Elazer. This is not the game that he wanted. Light Shed apparently is a very uncomfortable map for Elazer, because I think at this point, I think it's a lost game. He also lost to Soul in a very sudden manner. There we go. It's a very sudden manner. I mean, yeah, this game is basically already over. Elazer just can't replace all those mutas. GG. They didn't stop the snowball effect. Hey, we didn't see Oxide. You know, Laser versus Soul, so. Finally some difference. Wait, did we? No, we didn't. Phoenix, do something cute. You wanna go after treats? Now she has something to do. Must be something interesting in the other room. Hey, Apollo. There's a treat if you want it. Oh, okay. Or just take a chill pill. Alright. Oh, he's so lazy. Doesn't want to go get it. Elazer versus HeRoMaRinE now all tied up 1-1. Elazer got a cheeky cheese kill in the first game and fell pretty flat in the macro game the second time. What can happen on this map? So many possibilities. In the top right, it is HeRoMaRinE. In the bottom left, it is Elazer. Something about that map. Elazer just can't quite get his feet underneath him. He's like pretty close. He doesn't have that terrible of an opening game, but then just is not prepared. I do think that fourth base double cancel was brutal at this level. It's definitely not supposed to happen. But again, just shy of being prepared. Not quite enough Lings, not quite enough Banelings. Muta's not quite out. The Mutas, I guess, are usually a bit late to the party. It's more of the amount of Lings and Banelings that Elazer is just always a little late to. I'm gonna sit down for this one. Pause. My cats are too trusting. They assume that we'll never harm them because we never have. But they don't acknowledge the idea of accidental harm. So they'll put their paw like right next to like one of my roller wheels. And they'll be like, it's fine. We know you'll move around it. One of these days I'm gonna make a mistake and I'm gonna feel really bad about it. I'm gonna blame you. Oh, now she's going after the
Twitch Prime sub received. Thank you for appeasing the
Oh, she
overmind.
found it. Not quite, not quite. Here she goes. SC2 Brand, thank you for the 3 months, and then Banksky with the 1,000 bits. Little zombie 1,000 bits. Thank you very much. Thank you all for the support today, guys. Really appreciate it. It's gonna be a busy month for me, and that's very exciting, actually. I think this is actually most people's preferred order of things, but very much so my preferred order of things is a lot of hard work and then feeling that nice feeling of achievements and that you deserve your vacation or your time off or what have you. And that just hasn't really existed during the COVID years because every day was very similar to each other. But it's starting to get different again, guys. Starting to look hopeful. Posture check? Yeah, right. This posture's important. Alright, so a little 3cc build from HeRoMaRinE. He was once again going up into Banshees by the looks of things and hoping to keep it secret too with the way that he's positioned his barracks and starport. Elazer is once again gone for slightly later. Well, really later, Metabot boost actually. You don't need it. There's a Banshee, but maybe no cloak this time. 100 gas. No cloak this time. Damn it! Seriously? He's still microing, I suppose. Probably shouldn't have. Yeah. I guess I could have predicted that because the tech lab wasn't still in the barracks, but yeah. Cloakless Banshee, pretty much just defensive. Cloak, Banshee, yeah. Capable of doing what it did last game, canceling the hatchery twice. Elazer is going into a pretty fast lair though. Like, this is faster than last game, right? Elazer might be setting up for a faster Spire build, but HeRoMaRinE is setting up for a Banshee Hellbat build. Which Elazer has not caught wind of. There's really no reason as to why he should catch wind of it. The best he can do is defend against the idea of Banshees. He doesn't know, but he is getting a Spore Crawler just in case he's... Oh, and he is getting a Roach Warren. Not because he knows about the Hellbat build, because he is going into a Roach-based play. So 1-1 Roaches on Oxide is actually one of the original ways to play this map. Kind of fell out of favor, though. And I guess Elazer's bringing it back. HeRoMaRinE is going into not just a Hellbat build, though. He's actually going into a faster second factory for a lot of Widow Mines. Now, if he catches wind of the Roaches, he could transfer that into double tank production, and I think he'd be happy with the situation. But if he doesn't, well, he should, right? Because he got the Hellbat push first. But if he doesn't realize it's a 1-1 Roach push, then maybe he builds Widow Mines, and that's a problem. But we gotta talk about this first and foremost. Drones just shy of getting barbecued. Half of them escape, half of them, I guess, just live and drone. Actually, getting big with the drone is not so bad. Queen's tackling the Hellbats as much as possible. Elazer, he's notably got no Lings on the defensive because they went for a counterattack that isn't working. They killed 3 SDVs, but not really worth, I guess, not supporting the engagement back at home. It was very close to being a perfect timing, though. So you can see why Elazer did that. I mean, actually, Elazer handles this at the end of the day pretty damn well, because he also got one Banshee and has basically killed the second one. Oh, this is fun. Yeah, actually, you know what? No, I like Elazer's position. I was a little worried. I thought the Roaches were out just a little bit late. The idea being that the Lings weren't necessary if the Roaches had popped, but the Queens actually did enough work that though some of them lost their lives, the Roaches now get to go for a counterattack, and HeRoMaRinE is going into those Drilling Claws. He is producing 2 tanks at a time. He's not got a lot of things to protect those tanks. So the 3rd CC has to be evacuated, and Elazer, he's in a fairly good position. I feel like he'd be in a better one if he actually was going to macro out of this, though. I don't know about forcing the issue. It might not matter either way. He could probably do both, actually. Yeah, he could probably contain and also drone back up. which seems to be exactly what he's doing. So, again, I don't know about busting into that natural. It might be possible, but is there... Do you have to test it? Do you have to push it? I don't think so. Elazer can get up to 4 bases versus just the 2 of HeRoMaRinE. Add-on is more upgrades. Add on a Hive. Add on a Hydralistan. Go into Lurkers if he wants. This one Banshee is not really the savior that she looks like. Scan goes down to the 3rd base, possibly looking for that drone counts. Sees drones, long distance mining from a 4th base, and that's a pretty good tell that this actually is a macro game. HeRoMaRinE thus is going to feel comfortable pushing out and actually taking his 3rd CC, which he's really got to be fast about. Like, as soon as he can, he needs to take that 3rd CC back. So that's what he does. Builds up a little Sim City, sits his tanks in a very nice spread here. And we got ourselves a longer TVZ. HeRoMaRinE has got double tank production. He's got Marauders on the way already. And Elazer is still only on that Roach technology, so they're fine. We have a Hydralistan, Infestation Pit as well. And I feel like Lurkers are going to be the next step once the Hydralistan is done. Roach Hydra, not really as much of a thing anymore against Terran as it was back in 2015, 2014, actually, on Merry-Go-Round. Fun times. Ooh, I guess with everything going like it did, priority being on that tank production, combat shields was delayed. Laser... well, I don't know. It's a lot of tanks. So, well, these Marines are missing some health. I don't actually think it's gonna matter. Combat shield should finish. Banshee somehow still alive. Grabs a couple extra drones. Drop to the right side is gonna find a 6th base. That's an easy kill right there. Elazer just looking to control any movement from HeRoMaRinE's main army, but I don't think HeRoMaRinE's going to be pushing until he's maxed anyways. It looks like HeRoMaRinE also is just predicting correctly that it is going to be Lurkers. Not really a whole lot more you'd expect from Roach Hydra. So he's grabbed the Ghost Academy, which is really funny to see a Ghost Academy finish before combat shields, but there you go. Roach is struggling to deal with this little drop, but it's not doing any significant damage yet. It's nice, of course, but you know, the 6th base isn't the most important for Elazer yet. Still looking to control any push out. HeRoMaRinE is maxed, but not quite knowing what he's up against. I mean, as soon as he moves out, there could be run-bys, counterattacks. He could be moving into Corrosive Biles raining from above. He could be moving into Lurkers for all he knows. Lurkers could already be out. He has no idea. So now is the time for HeRoMaRinE to turtle. And Elazer is pretty much just confirming that. I don't think he's actually going to take an engagement. In fact, he might take an engagement just to get rid of some roaches. Keep the Ravagers, get rid of the roaches, replace that supply with a lot of Hydras and Lurkers. Now that's an aggressive base. Oxide was one of the OG Terran favored maps in the previous map pool. Oh, he's getting rid of supply to build more ghosts. And one of the reasons I think that happened... Ooh, okay, well, we got a little bit of a scuffle here. HeRoMaRinE realizing that Elazer's not quite set up to handle his Bioforce. Grabs a handful of units, but yeah, one of the reasons I think that is the case is that it becomes a very small map very quickly. Not necessarily in rush distance. You don't necessarily expand that quickly towards each other, but just in the literal amount of bases you get. You know, on a map like Romanicide, Elazer can take a base to the far left and then have plenty of bases to take to the far right, should the left side be compromised. On Oxide, it's like, you only have so many bases to play that left-right nomad type of game. And eventually you just straight up run out of bases. And because Zerg is the resource traders, they have a big economy and they trade inefficiently. Having less bases overall in a split map scenario is bad, so I actually like that Elazer grabs this, and I would love if he did the equivalent of a Terran by muling their hidden bases, by transferring as many drones as possible there. It's a gamble. I don't think he'll do it, but I would love a little cheeky drone transfer. HeRoMaRiNE's got 4 bases set up, tanks aplenty, ghosts aplenty, and he also is building extra command centers. Extra orbitals actually being a little bit more critical than usual. You don't just want mules to get rid of SUVs and have a higher army supply. You also want scans, because lurkers be burrowing. And ravens are a bit hard to control. 3-3 has only just started for HeRoMaRiNE. Still reeling from the early game in that department. Can't chrono boost your upgrades, unfortunately. So Elazer's done on his 3-3, done on adrenal glands. HeRoMaRiNE still turtling, hoping that Elazer takes a bad fight, or just hoping that Elazer lets him live to the point of having 3-3 Ghost, Liberator, whatever the hell he wants. Oh, ghosts, please. Not supposed to die. These roaches will eventually be sacrificed, methinks, but right now being used as anti-drop units, kind of. I like this tank. Clever. Greater Spire is on the way. I do think you have to do a couple of tech swaps to actually break a Terran that's entrenched as this. It's difficult to just throw a bunch of lurkers there. Corruptors might be what replaces these roaches. The Greater Spire is about 80% done. That would make sense. Maybe try and hide the Corruptor somewhere as well. So far, no decision as to what to fill out the rest of the supply with. We got 2 Vipers, 19 Lurkers, and a handful of other units. But really, it's the 19 Lurkers. Alright, 38 Lings and 6 more drones, actually. Elazer is kind of on a low drone count for this type of game. So that makes sense. Nice snipe on 1 Viper. EMP's the other one. It's not really a dangerous Viper count quite yet, but obviously very expensive units. Nice grabs. I believe those are SCVs intentionally being killed, by the way. I have no idea where they happened, but I think it was intentional. 3-3 is finally going to finish for HeRoMaRiNE. Been trying to take out this top left base for a while, and looks like it might finally happen. When he takes it out, he can try and put a planetary down, but Elazer's not going to let that go for free. Command center canceled? Nope, killed actually. Changelings being destroyed, what we just heard there. Lots of snipes going down. The Overseers. Actually, I guess the Lurkers didn't have vision. There are so many ghosts sniping that even if the Lurkers did actually touch some of those ghosts, the rest of the snipes probably still go down. So many upgrades to talk about on a laser side. Pathogen glands, 2-2, or 2-1 actually on the air. Finally, 12 Corruptors on the way. Burrow, +2 melee. Also going to support the Broodlords. They have a projectile attack and a melee. HeRoMaRiNE, I mean, doesn't really have a whole lot more upgrades to go for. He is missing the building upgrades, and I do think that's worth getting in this game. And he's also missing nukes, so I'm glad to see we have a nuke on the way. But yeah, high-sec auto-tracking, building armor, I think worth. Oh, otherwise, he's only getting Liberator range, which is also certainly worth. More and more changelings. A bit of a draw right now. Who's gonna fire first? Apparently it's gonna be HeRoMaRiNE attempting to fire. And then his gun malfunctions. Big old drop is gonna drop on top of lurkers anyways. Finally kills the hatchery, but it's a base that has been unable to be taken for so long. And even with the creep spread gone, it's still going to be a bit of a struggle to protect it. But I gotta say, I think things have kind of evened up. I mean, Elazer is the bigger bank, but that is to be expected from a Zerg player. HeRoMaRiNE is no longer recovering from the early game scenario with all of his upgrades done. And if he wanted to build more units, more structures, more whatever, he could. He is starting to bank. But he's happy with what he's got. Thor actually started to be built. Cancelled. You see the Broodlords? Don't know. Well, that nuke could hit. It wouldn't be the best nuke ever. This drop actually a little bit more fun to talk about as it finds the lurkers unburrowed and Hydra's not able to really do anything by themselves. Nuke actually does hit and also hits a couple of reinforcing units. 12 drones go down. Drop continues. Scans and sees 2 lurkers still covering. He's gonna try and go for it though, but that's a stimmed up army. Yeah, it's not gonna work. Oh, Marauder slow wasn't done? Okay, well. He noticed it, fortunately. In come the Broodlords. 12 Broodlords. HeRoMaRinE, not quite aware. Well, now it's girl. You gotta predict them. Let's see if Solar is in this game. In the spirit of Solar. Save HeRoMaRinE. No, not Elazer. First thing you want to look at in the order of nuke priority, guys, is your big ol' army. See if there's a dot over that. Then quickly check all your bases. And when pros check their bases, it happens within 2 seconds. So that's why nukes generally don't hit, but sometimes they do. More so, nukes are used to clear up creep, which isn't exactly, you know, a very good cost trade, but it is some way of getting rid of it that is a little more subtle than trying to drop. And then, well, these tanks will get destroyed. And then they're also used as distractions. If you're nuking and dropping and pushing and liberator harassing, like whatever, it's gonna add up. And that's usually when nukes hit. Yeah, 1 nuke at a time. That's creep spread clear up. That's warding away the army. Also, stack defense cleanup too. Command center finally tries to go to the top left. It's an orbital as well, but it's gonna find another hatchery built. Ah, bad timing on that one. Oh, the defensive nuke being slapped down. Oh no, that's a scan actually. This is where the nuke's being slapped down. And still only 1 nuke at a time, despite having 2 ghost academies. This one's gonna find a decent number of drones yet again, but does Elazer really care? I don't think so. I mean, 100 for 18 drones. Eventually HeRoMaRinE will win out the resource trades, I guess. Oh my god, there's so many ghosts. Holy shit. Oh my god, of ducks, fungals, more of ducks. Can't even right now. I can't even. Don't know what's gonna happen. It is a surround of ghosts coming in, but the fungals are still available, and all it takes is 1 little poke. A ghost stubs his little pinky toe, and he can't snipe anymore. He's that much of a wuss. Okay, snipes are going down though. The fungal coming in a little bit late, just not capturing literally every single ghost, and there was 20 of them, now down to 15. There's also like 15 Broodlords, now down to 8. But it really is just Ghost versus Broodlord, and it doesn't work out so well when the Ghosts are being fungal. There we go. Doesn't matter if they're cloaked, but if they're being fungal, then they can't snipe. They're not going to actually defeat a bunch of Broodlords, and it looks like maybe this is finally it. Elazer, what is he reinforcing with? More Corruptors and thus more Broodlords, bringing in the rest of his army. It is the end game of any Terran versus Zerg cinematic that you've ever seen, where the Terran thought they had a chance and then had to land Vikings against an Ultralisk. HeRoMaRinE tries to remax with whatever bank he had, but it was like 3,000, 3,000. That's really not that much to remax an entire army, especially a late game army. So as HeRoMaRinE tries to remax, he also continues to lose more units, more supply, and more command centers.
You are doing something right, Captain.
And that, I mean, this is it. This is it. I don't know what HeRoMaRinE. Maybe he just should have avoided the engagement, actually. Just to not take it there. That's it, man. Thank you, Garing Dutch, for the 4-month resub. 4 months, time flies, and having fun. Yeah. 2021 is going a lot quicker than 2020, that's for sure. HeRoMaRinE still believes in the power of the ghost. Elazer correctly believes in the power of lords and fungals. Classic composition, still plaguing us in 2021. HeRoMaRinE would need one baller surround, or perhaps a baller nuke. Elazer is getting set up for being surrounded, but I think he's alright. HeRoMaRinE not going to try to go for any type of surround, actually going for a bit of a blitz into the bases with a handful of Marines. His production is about to be camped though, and that is the death sentence of any Terran. Looks like maybe the Overseers have disappeared, so the Ghosts are able to cloak. No Fungals coming down quite yet either. Corruptors starting to fall down in numbers, but now that the starport's being camped, they will eventually win the air war. And it's been it for a while, but now it's really it. I love the attempts. I love the EMPs and the snipes and the Vikings. But they ain't working. Here comes the other Zerg horde. Lings and Lurkers gonna take out the, I think, last mining base, because this isn't really mining anymore. GG. At the end of the day, HeRoMaRinE had fallen behind and lost the game, but it took 20, 30 minutes. Can't blame the early game for the end game fights, but you can blame the early game for the severe lack of mid game, which is usually where the Terran thrives and can actually control death balls like that. It would be pretty surprising for Elazer to take down HeRoMaRinE in the finals. But Elazer has been a tricky guy. His 2 wins were based off of some early game exchanges. First game, totally unscouted, wins with an all-in. That happens. That last game, it was an exchange of build orders that favored Elazer. HeRoMaRinE needed to know it was Roaches, I think, before he engaged with the Hellbats. And then, I mean, but even then it's kind of awkward because the Hellions don't help with the defense. He still has to lift his third and be contained, so... But maybe they could have done something more later on. I don't know. I actually think just overall it was a kind of a build order loss. Kind of, yeah. So it's kind of a question of, does Elazer get these types of early games reliably? So far he's got 2 of them, all I need is 1 more. In the bottom left of 2,000 atmospheres, it is Elazer. In the top right, it is HeRoMaRinE. Man, some runner went from 5K to 45K in 5 months. That's actually really insane. Kind of stupid insane. The box is a mousetrap? That'd be a very elaborate mousetrap. No, it's just a treat puzzle box. Missed the Clem Max Packs game? So did I. I don't actually know what went down there. Did I move to a new place? Yes, a month ago. Getting a TVZs have kind of boiled down to looking at the second gas. If it's taken around now, starport. If it's not, third CC. It is going to be a third CC. HeRoMaRinE actually SCV scouted. Elazer is the type of guy to be up in a series 1 point away from victory and early roach attack you. Once again, grabbing 6 lings. You gotta respect these guys' Reapers, I guess. HeRoMaRinE being real fancy. They actually did grab a second gas pretty much right after I said it was gonna be third CC. Which, is still a bit later than I would have expected it to be. But yeah, it's not gonna be a third CC after all. Got a starport on the way. HeRoMaRinE still being fancy with his Reaper. It's being denied any more crucial information than, hey, there's queens in the front lines. Who'd have thunk it? Does look like it's going to be just a maybe like Viking Liberator coming out, then Tech Lab on the barracks. It's a very less gas committed into this than if it was Banshees. Not that Elazer knows about anything that's really happening in the main base. All of his scouting is from this Overlord, which actually we'll see the timing of the third CC, so still pretty nice Overlord. HeRoMaRinE now has 6 Hellions and could be diving towards the drones. If he wanted. Don't think he wants to. More as a distraction, perhaps, for the Liberator to do more damage. Just trying to skirt around any Overlords that might be in the vicinity, and so far so good. Skirt. Nothing covering this little pathway into the main. The Liberator will not only do some damage, but it'll also scout another fast lair build here from Elazer. Which he was not able to do in the second game, was it? I think so. Spore Crawlers have been made because Elazer simply doesn't know what's happening. It will help deal with the Liberator, but can't be seen as an overcommittal in every single base just for one Liberator. Lings are trying to maybe get a wrap run on some Hellions or check around for that third CC being put on location, but Hellions are on top. Top of their game. Oh, it's actually, where's the third Spore Crawler? Oh, there you are. Lazer's lair is done. He's got only 3 gases right now, actually. So it's gonna be that faster than typical hooks. And then into the upgrades. starting to get hungry, man. Damn. Liberator really hasn't found much success, but it's done a lot of scouting. It lives with a lot of health, and HeRoMaRinE is now slapping down his 3rd CC. Could be ready to push. It's not going to have any upgrades. His combat shields won't be done, but they'll finish not as he crosses the map, but probably as he, like, sieges or something like that. Elazer hoping to be really prepared for a push like this with not just enough lings and banelings, but also centrifugal hooks. It's kind of been his problem, is not actually having the banelings ready or enough lings ready, just being always a little shy of deflecting the first push in a more normal game. He's got a ling run-by setup, actually turned into a baneling run-by. A lot of gas committed on the attack when the defense might be a little more important. Queens have plenty of transfuses, but the Hellions are even trying to take down whatever lings they can as Hellions. Father determined a Hellbat's not yet anyways. Armory's not done, not even on the way. HeRoMaRinE is too busy microing. Here comes some banelings, but a Liberator siege up actually won't stop these banelings from killing everything. Oh, and it looks like there's going to be a cleanup on the attack as well. Elazer with a 1-2 punch. Not even a 1-2 punch. It was more like a dodge into an uppercut. Kills 10 SCVs and clears out all the tanks. The Marines left over are kind of a scary number, but not scary enough to actually snowball and overwhelm. Elazer finishes up a bunch more banelings, is gonna finish up his 1-1, and HeRoMaRinE has messed up his macro. He does not have an armory, so he can't go into 2-2 fast at all. Elazer was going to be always a bit behind. Now he's gonna be a bit ahead, unless he just dies, I guess. Elazer does need to defend this base. Another tank's here. Liberator is here, but it's tangling with the Queens, not the banelings. The tank tries to take out the banelings, but a lot of them still have those connections on the right side. HeRoMaRinE not willing to give up the pressure quite yet. Might be able to get this base, but Elazer's got 48 lings on the way. If those pop out and the hatchery still lives, I don't think HeRoMaRinE's going to be able to win this game. And it looks like that actually won't be happening. Tank goes down, Marines live, but all of those lings are now here, and 15 more SCVs went down to another run by. HeRoMaRinE, forced to pick up and evacuate, is in a world of trouble. Elazer, actually not even starting his own 2-2, is just going to go for an attack. Okay, it does start Carapace, he does start some drones, but he's got plenty of lings to work with, and he sees an opportunity. He's going to go for it. 2 Liberators siege up, and that will kind of help with the choke, but they're not very good against Ling Baneling. There's just too much Ling Baneling for the Liberator one-shot to really be truly effective. Especially the Lings. A Ling Flood actually might be able to cut it here. HeRoMaRinE not gonna win this finals, by the looks of things. Elazer still on 5 bases, 73 drones, faster upgrades. The only thing Elazer is missing, I guess, is some type of glare technology, but he doesn't necessarily need it with all this pressure. HeRoMaRinE, I think, in a latter game would have already tapped out, knowing the situation, but is willing to stay in this one. His 3rd CC is still alive, but it looks bad. And the banelings are now rushing to that natural. Not quite supply blocking HeRoMaRinE, but that's mostly because HeRoMaRinE has not had a lot of supply. And this was a kind of surprising turn of events. This was not some cheeky early engagement, bad build order trade. This was actually a more normal game that Elazer was still able to, I mean, looked like he dominated. Towards the end here, it looked super one-sided. It wasn't necessarily one of those games where it could have definitely turned over into HeRoMaRinE's favor, given a better tank shot or something, but... Oh. Elazer takes the lead, doubling the overall supply despite losing a handful of drones. And there it is. Elazer takes out HeRoMaRinE 3-1. Grabs his own crown, trophy, whatever you want to call it for the Open Cup.